today's session of Beyond the Ballot, Europe's Democratic Journey. Again, this speaker series brings together leading experts, academics, students, and policymakers to discuss issues related to democracy and the EU and beyond. Today's session is sponsored by the European Union through our Jean Monnet Center of Excellence grant, as well as the Dietrich School of Arts and Science here at Pittsburgh, and the U.S. Department of Education through our Title VI grant. Today's focus is called Voices of Concern, how Europe's youth are expressing their dissatisfaction with the state of democracy. And today, I thought it was fitting, since we're talking about youth, to have two guest hosts today who will help to moderate this session, two students here at the University of Pittsburgh. First of all, we have Albena, who is a sophomore here at the University of Pittsburgh, and she's pursuing a degree in political science with a focus on comparative politics, and she's also pursuing an honors degree. We also have Kylie Baker, who is a sophomore Nordenberg scholar studying political science and international relations. She is minoring in Turkish and in history. During this section, you'll have the opportunity to ask questions, so you can use the Q&A function for those who are joining us virtually. Feel free to post a question or to raise your hand at any time. And I'm going to turn it over to our moderators who will introduce the speakers.
So here with us today is Professor James Sloam, who is a professor of politics at the Royal Holloway, University of London. Professor Sloam specializes in youth political participation, sustainability, and civic engagement. He has published extensively on how young people's political behavior has shifted towards non-electoral forms of engagement, with the notable works including Youthquake 2017, The Rise of Young Cosmopolitans in Britain. Professor Sloam's research has influenced public policy, and he has collaborated with organizations like Fight the Ballot and Greater London Authority on youth engagement strategies. His recent work focuses on youth environmental activism and urban democracy, contributing to global discussions on sustainable development and civic education.
And we also have Professor Albena Azmanova, is professor at the Political and Social Science at the University of Kent. She specializes in political theory, communication, and the political economy. She has a long history in activism in Eastern Europe, and her research surrounds crosses of democracy, rise of populism, and challenges to rule of law. So we have two very excellent speakers with us today with a variety of expertise, so thank you both for coming.
James, do you want to get us started, maybe?
Yeah, I wasn't supposed to do it, but I'm going to be sharing some slides because I'm just sort of having almost a break from teaching, and it's really nice to be able to speak to you all and get to be thinking about these issues in some more detail. So where do I start? Well, from my perspective, young people are moving away from mainstream electoral politics in Europe, so moving away from these main political parties. So in most European party systems, you have the two big parties at the center, which would be like the Democratic Party and the Republican Party in the US. And then you have other parties like Green parties, far left parties, but the political systems in Europe are quite different. So if you don't have a presidential system or you have a proportional representation system, then young people can express their dissatisfaction differently. So in the US, you can turn to protest movements. You can maybe go for a third party in a presidential election, but you don't necessarily have a choice of those groups having a decent chance of, let's say, forming a government. So I was talking to the group beforehand, and in Germany in 2021, when they had their last federal election, the largest party for young people was the Green Party for under 30s, and the Green Party are now part of the federal government in Germany. So they're part of this coalition government. And so the opportunities to express yourself depends on the political system. But what I would say is that young people quite generally, not just in Europe, but also in the United States, have been let down by politicians and policymakers as they fail to adapt to new systems. And I'll try and explain what I mean if I can go on to the next slide there. So what we've had in Europe and in the United States and many other democracies, established democracies, if we've had this trend towards partisan de-alignment. And what that means is that people no longer associate themselves quite as much with political parties as they used to do in the past. So my generation, most people would vote for a political party for life. They were committed to that. But your generation are much more issue focused. And that's a good thing, probably. So you're concerned about the environment. It might be local issues such as housing. It can be the cost of living crisis. So all of these things make your generation more issue focused than my generation were. And the political parties have struggled to adapt. Now, in a two-party presidential system like the US, it's really hard for parties to adapt because they're these big units and they're trying to sort of get people to support this big tent strategy, as they like to say. But in European democracies, it's slightly different. And so you have this quite wide spectrum of political parties. So you have the Christian Democrat and Social Democratic parties in most European democracies. And then you have a free market liberal party, you'll have a Green party, you might have a far left party, you'll have a populist right party. And it kind of gives young people a choice. And in those systems where you do have proportional representation, then young people are adopting a wider spectrum of political parties of their choice. So in Germany at the last election in 2021, Germany's a good example, but I could give you many more. Only about less than a quarter of young people under 30 supported the Christian Democrats and Social Democrats. So they're the two big parties, so like Labour or Conservative in the UK. A lot of them supported the Greens, some supported the free market liberals, some supported the far left party. So there's quite wide range of political activism. But I'd also like to just mention the point about these waves of crisis. And from my perspective, politicians have failed to deliver for young people. So we could talk about the COVID crisis, cost of living, climate change. And this is why young people, quite rightly, from my perspective, are quite disaffected with mainstream electoral politics. And so not only have they turned to alternative political parties, but also to social movements. So like climate change activism, like Black Lives Matter. And a lot of it relates to what we call identity politics. But something else which is really important are these fault lines between generations. So I'm sure you feel it in the United States. So older people are... So it used to be maybe 20, 30 years ago that there wasn't that much difference in terms of generations, in terms of who they voted for. It used to be that working class people would tend to vote more for centre-left people, middle class people vote more for centre-right people. But now age matters more perhaps than it ever has done. And actually going back in the US, it used to be that Republicans and Democrats back in 2000, young people voted for them more or less equally. But now it's quite different, although it was more similar in the most recent election. So you have these huge intergenerational differences. These spring from intergenerational differences in values, culture wars, you might call them, but differences in issues like immigration and diversity. So young people are much more accepting of diversity and immigration. And they're also more supportive of issues like women's rights. And so you see these big differences in the gender divide amongst young people. However, there is a lower political participation amongst young people in Europe, which is problematic. And I'll talk about that later. It's not just differences between generations, it's differences within your generation amongst young Europeans. There's a gender divide, which maybe you can give me some answers for, but there's a big difference between young women and young men, not just in terms of who they vote for, but also in terms of their social movement activism. So just look at the pictures in the climate activism, and you'll see that almost 90% of them will be young women who are taking part in these climate protests. Similar with regard to political parties. So young women in particular will be the ones who are supporting Green parties, for example, in Europe. So they're big intergenerational divides within generations in Europe. There are also divides based on socioeconomic status. And so what you tend to get is that young people who maybe don't go on to higher education, who come from poorer backgrounds, tend to be the ones who are more vulnerable to populism and maybe even far-right politics. So it's still true to say that older generations are more likely, in general, to support parties on the far right. However, young people, and particularly young men from lower socioeconomic backgrounds, so from poorer backgrounds, are actually quite vulnerable to these sort of far right and extremist political causes. The other big danger for democracy, and European democracy in particular, is that young people from poorer backgrounds don't tend to vote. So that's true in the US, it's true in the UK, it's true across Europe. And this is dangerous for democracy because if they're not voting, they're not expressing their opinion, it's easier for politicians to ignore them. And then you get this vicious circle starting. So they become more disillusioned with politics. So the final point, and this is really a question for you, then how do we turn this around? How do we rejuvenate politics? How do we get young people's voices heard? And from my discussions with young people in the US recently, but in the UK and in other countries, politicians are particularly bad at aiming their policies at young people. Not just aiming their policies, and maybe this will be something that Albena is talking about, but also communicating with young people. Their communication styles are very poor, right? And so how can they do it better? How can they aim policies at young people to try and engage them? And then the final point that I want to make really is this issue about engaging between elections. I was very struck when I was speaking to the Bring Out the Youth Vote people in Pennsylvania that the conversations I had with them there are very similar to the ones that I'd have with young people in Britain or in Germany, that young people want to be engaged in issues and shaping policies between elections. So this is why sort of a lot of focus of my work is on this urban democracy and trying to get the voices of young people heard in policy. So whether it's crime within your local area, getting the city governments to try and address this, or whether it's schools or housing, these or climate issues, these are the ones that young people want to get involved with, but not just once every 4 or 5 years. It's on an issue by issue basis across the electoral cycle. And so this is a real failing of our democracy. And so what I'd like to introduce to the discussion, and maybe you guys can help me here, is how do we rejuvenate democracy? How do we reawaken the interest of young people, but especially young people from disadvantaged backgrounds? And I think I'll leave talk there because I've probably overrun a little bit.
Okay, yeah, very happy to be part of your forum. Let me just say that I've changed jobs meanwhile, so now I'm a professor at the City University of London. Not at Kent. If we have to start with a snapshot of the picture that surveys give us about what young people think, the following picture emerges. So the most recent surveys, I've looked only over the past up to 5 years back. So surveys check polling happiness among youth in North America and in Western Europe, but a rise in happiness reported by young people in Sub-Saharan Africa and in Eastern Europe. An interesting discrepancy. Now, the 2024 Good Childhood Report found that on average, 1 in 6 young people across Europe are unhappy with their lives. So nowadays, studies show that teenagers are better behaved, less hedonistic, less playful, less joyful, lonelier, and more isolated. There was an interesting survey, not survey, but analysis I came across that looked at the way pop songs, the most famous pop songs over the past 20 years have changed and detecting the mood among young publics. So pop songs over the past decades have become more focused on personal trauma rather than on societal events, on issues of justice. So personal trauma, and then another survey I saw that young people are listening to pop music in order to heal personal trauma. So there is some sort of focus on the self, increased focus on the unhappy self in youth popular culture. Now, in terms of political attitudes, the Eurobarometer, it's a survey of the European Commission conducted in spring 2024, interestingly detected that young people still believe in voting rather than engaging in social media as the best way to impact politics. So 38% of respondents said that voting in local, national, and European elections is the most effective action for making their voice heard in by decision makers, while only 32 said that the social media is the way to go. Now, another feature emerges from these surveys is that young people are socially engaged. About 1 in 2 European the surveyed European youth reported to have taken action to change society, such as signing a petition, participating in a rally, or sending a letter to a politician. So they believe in voting, they're socially engaged, but they do not trust the system. They don't trust the establishment. So a survey conducted in the UK in March 2024, only 1 in 10 young people aged between 8 and 17 believe politicians always or often focus on the needs of young people when making decisions. At the same time, the big majority, 88%, believe that it is important for them, for young people, to have a say in the decisions of politicians about public life. So the picture that emerges is they're politically conscious, socially engaged, mistrust the establishment. And believe in the importance of voting. Now, let me now say a few things about the concerns of the young people that emerged through these surveys. So, no surprise there, passing exams, going to school, feeling the pressure to look and act in a certain way. This is massively reporting as big concerns. And then the surprise comes. Very acute concerns with 3 issues: safety, physical safety, safety on the streets, mental health. So young people are conscious about the pressures on their mental health. They're afraid of ill mental health. And so 2 in 5 children and young people surveyed were worried about rising prices. So that shows that concerns over making ends meet are filtering down, usually the concerns of the adults, of the parents, are filtering down to young people. And they increasingly worry about these things. Now, one item that I found rather shocking in such surveys, especially that came from a survey of youth attitudes in Germany. Fear of poverty in old age. Can you imagine young people worrying about poverty in old age? That is a symptom of this. What mostly my work recently has been about this mass precarity, the massive insecurity that people experience, their incapacity to cope, fear for the future. So I see this concern with fear of poverty in old age as a symptom of that phenomenon. So we can generalize only that much about what grieves the young. The elections that past rounds of elections that passed in over the year showed that youth vote is radically divided between the far left and the far right. So there's a withdrawal, not withdrawal. Young people just don't support the establishment parties, and they vote either for the far right or the far left. A novelty of the European elections back in June was that less people voted for green parties than in the previous cycle, and more young people voted for far right parties. So this is a very phenomenal shift. What else? Yes, civics also detect a huge gap between the preferences of elites and the population on many issues, but especially the preferences of and the values of young people and the elites. So this is the big divide of our times. I recently looked up a survey about attitudes to the conflicts in the Middle East. And most of the young people are outraged at the atrocities suffered by the Arab and Muslim populations at the hands of the Israeli government, while European elites, the ruling elites, tend to be supportive or tolerant of these actions. So there is a big gap in these attitudes, well, that cannot be a good thing. Yeah, this is going to boil up. And we see these things with the protests in the universities, with the violent reactions of the police and the administrators. So this is the snapshot that I can deliver about
Thank you.
what is the youth.
So a question we had was why more and more youth are voting for right-wing parties across Europe, because we sort of see like the success of right-wing parties across Europe happening recently.
So well, these issues with economic concerns. So a big concern among the young people in Europe is housing. So far-right parties in their electoral mobilization address directly these issues about housing and offer solutions. So I think that far-right parties have been very pragmatic in addressing the specific grievances of young people and like giving them something. While the left-wing parties, and maybe it's after political communication, like my colleague said, they remain their discourse very vague about social justice and inclusion. So this language of justice, but like academic language of justice, not speaking to the specific what hurts. So maybe it's not so much an ideological choice that young people make to vote for the far right, but very pragmatic choice.
Yeah, and maybe I'll.
No.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. Yeah.
No, I was just going to add to what you said because I think that's very true. But I also think that it's interesting to think about the types. So the far right will obviously be appealing on national identity issues. So then we come to something that obviously is important in the US in terms of who people vote for, which is race and ethnicity, and then gender as well, because some of these far right parties, or many of them, most of them, maybe all of them, have a very traditional view of what, let's say, family is and the role of women within society, a regressive view, and from my political perspective. And so they are appealing to sort of poorer groups, as Albena says, with issues like housing, but they're also appealing sort of quite specifically to young men. And if we can say that also young white men as well. And so with these issues of national identity, so they're saying you have economic problems, which they probably, they would do with housing, real problems, other issues, mental health. But the problems of this are issues like immigration. And this is where, it feeds into the discussions that you've had over there with the US elections. This is why the far right do so well again amongst young white men if you're going to pick a particular stereotypical group.
Yeah, not to contradict what you said, but there are very interesting telling exceptions. In France, during the European elections, 33% of young people voted for the far right, and the vote was equally split, the same percentage of women as men. It is an exception, but what it tells me is that there are concerns, the general concerns that the far right somehow manages to address in a very compelling way. And my guess there is that, populist parties, they always come up with very quick solutions. And European, young people, but also generally the public is tired of waiting. So it has lost its patience with the more slow delivery of democracy. So democracy is a slow process. It takes time. It's messy. And people with all these, what we now call polycrisis, crisis after the crisis, they are hungry for quick solutions. And this is what populist parties are extremely, or especially the far right, are very good at. Stop immigration, that's a quick solution. So it seems to me that is why they win votes.
Thank you so much. So speaking along those terms of democracy, the idea of democracy in the European Union, speaking on the politics within the European Commission, the European Parliament with those parties, do we think we are going to see a trend in the future of youth supporting further European Union integration or going for a more sovereignist tone? Because very far left and very far right parties are often more hesitant to integrate, but some of those not quite completely far right and far left parties are still somewhere within integration and sovereignty. So can you imagine a future for either of those possibilities?
I mean, I think that so my view would be that the economic crises that Albena was talking about and the waves of crisis that young people are subjected to all the way since go back to 2008 with the financial crash and austerity and COVID and all of these, the impact of this has created a situation where young people are looking outside the mainstream political parties, right? On the other hand, you have another current, which is that young people with high levels of educational attainment, so college students. So, for example, in the UK, college students, about 75% of college students in the UK supported Britain staying in the European Union. Now, that's not going to be the same across the board, but I think that there is this big intergenerational divide, and you could see that widening again between people who have, go on to higher education and those who don't. I mean, it's hard to make generalizations, as Albena saying, France is different, Germany's different, but I think that there is a danger unless policymakers do address young people's very real everyday concerns that Albena was talking about, so housing, mental health, Gaza, or whatever it is, that unless they do actually address these direct concerns, then people become skeptical and look for other alternatives. I mean, hopefully they're not the far right, but that is one possible way of thinking. But I think it'll be split between, as Albena was saying, between the sort of different alternatives, Greens, far left, and far right. But don't forget that the Greens and the Greens tend to be quite pro-European. Far left can be a little bit anti-European as well, because they see Europe as a free market and something that's not delivering for young people as well.
Yeah, to this, it depends what young people see in Europe. To take as an example, there is this pan-European identitarian movement. It's the youth, it's the young people, educated, who are supporting far-right ideas because they want to build fortress Europe. So they speak about European way of life that they describe as Christian, white, liberal in some sense, like gender equality. So they say we have to save Europe from the Islamic traditionalism because Islam wants women, to be in a traditional modes and roles, and that goes against the European way of life. So if and my fear is that actually with the current composition of European Commission that is moving quite to the right, we will move Europe to this kind of fortress Europe, defense of the European way of life, curbing immigration. So maybe some young people would like that. Others, would reject that. So I expect exactly battles about what kind of Europe are we building, open and inclusive, or a fortress Europe of a white Christian privileged way of life?
It also depends on these external shocks, right? So let's say, for example, that you have a gloomy idea of what's going to happen within the environment and climate change over the next few years. That's only going to increase immigration. Let's say you're thinking about the aging populations in Europe. So Europe's populations are aging quite quickly, and so we actually need immigrants. And the truth is, if we want to run our economies like we've done in the past, so Britain's not aging that much, but countries like Germany and even, I think, Italy, even more than most, are aging quite quickly. And so the problem is that for a long time, politicians haven't been telling the truth. And the truth is that economically, we've been relying on immigrants. Personally, I have no problem with that because that's my, I'm quite comfortable with that. But the whole Brexit debate in Britain was about, okay, we want to leave the EU so we don't have as many immigrants. But if you think, so my wife is actually a midwife and she works in a hospital. And then when you had Brexit, we stopped getting Greek and Spanish midwives, and we started getting ones from Nigeria and Kenya and from countries in the developing world. I mean, personally, I have no problem with that, apart from that you take those skills from those countries, which is an issue. But it's not, we need the labour force. And I don't think, there hasn't been this sensible discussion about immigration that, what are we going to do to, if we need people for social care, if we need people for all of these jobs and skills. And politicians for years and years have been allowing this to go on with this almost dirty secret that we need immigrants, which again, personally, I don't have a problem with, but it's like the US, right? You need immigrants for your economy, but then someone's been saying that you're going to deport them all. Well, okay, then how does that work with some of the parts of the economy that really need immigrants? And so that's a real issue. And then going back to Albena's point, this idea of what the Germans call a Wertegemeinschaft. So it's a community of values, right? So for a long time, there's been discussion in Germany that you have that the EU is a community of values. And so they've been quite worried about, let's say, countries like Turkey, that they haven't wanted to join the European Union because they see them as having different values. And there's a bit of Islamophobia tied in there as well. But I think that, so what's really going to shape young people's values is really how the discourse works. And is the discourse going to be an honest one about what immigration actually is? Or is it going to be a dishonest one that the populists and the far right like to have, that we don't need immigration when in fact we do? And then there's going to be this constant sort of battle about communities and values as opposed to ideas of integration, inclusion, and how you can feed all of these different communities into this democratic process that we have. So, sorry, I've slightly strayed from the topic, but it's a very interesting question.
Thank you for that.
So another question we had was why European youth in general are dissatisfied with the state of democracy. You were talking about how they sort of want quick progress, and I guess they aren't seeing that from democracy. Can you sort of talk more about that?
Sorry, I could not hear the last sentence.
So I was just wondering why European youth are dissatisfied with the state of democracy. You were talking about how they want quick progress, and sort of can you talk more about that?
The quick progress.
Yeah.
I mean, what else can I say? It is just that once you are anxious, yeah, you desire stability. The problem with instability is actually the taste it generates for stability. So young people are becoming more conservative exactly because they feel so unstable. So for me, I said political communication, so the left needs to communicate better, but mostly what we need is politics of stabilization, of economic stability, so that, young people can even plan their future. If they're all the time getting one degree after another with the hope that finally they will get a job, that does not allow you to plan your life and to thrive. So what policies need to be in place? I'm afraid that this commission is going exactly in the opposite direction, because they are focusing, they have rephrased the European Green Deal, for instance, as the pact for competitiveness. So competitiveness is the big idea here. But for the sake of competitiveness, exactly, our jobs have become less secure. We're cutting down the pro-environmental action. So I'm not very hopeful that the policies that we need are coming in.
Yeah, and to add to that, it's just, you guys probably know this already, but it's become a lot more difficult since the early 2000s, when you had EU enlargement. Now you have more countries in the EU to make these decisions on social or green types of policies. So even if the countries were all equally as similar, there would just be more countries taking part, so it'd be harder to get to a decision. And so then what you have in the European Union is it becomes more easy to take things away, to deregulate, than it is to regulate. Because when you're regulating, when you're making sort of social policy or green policy, more or less everyone has to agree. I mean, not quite everyone, but getting there. But when you want to take things away, like rules about sort of labor or whatever it is, it becomes easier to do that. And so therefore, I think when you're thinking about models of democracy, you also have to think about which levels this work on. The EU, it's almost falling into what was described by a guy called Fritz Scharpf, who's a German sociologist, political scientist, talked about something called the joint decision trap. When you have so many actors taking part in a decision making, it becomes almost impossible to make agreements, certainly when it comes to social or environmental policy, which are the things young people want. And so then you're thinking about, well, on what level can these models of democracy operate? And my work now is focusing more on cities and young people in London, actually. So young Londoners, particularly young Londoners from disadvantaged backgrounds, because actually within London, if you can get them speaking to policymakers on issues, the very ones Albena was talking about, like housing or crime. So if people are worried about their personal safety and crime's really high up there with mental health, well, what is it that they want? What do they actually want at a neighbourhood level? Do they need more police, or are police part of the problem? And so it's having the voices of young people in policy making. And I'm afraid that I'm not sure that the European Parliament or the European level institutions are able to do that anymore. And I think you almost have to look to lower levels of democracy for these types of things to work. I mean, I don't know if Albena shares my pessimism about EU level institutions.
It occurred to me that actually the European decision makers, they listen to the street. So the street matters. Let me explain what I mean. So in the previous administration, that designed the European Green Deal, that was at the time when young people were on the streets marching for the Fridays for Future. Last year, when the streets of Brussels and elsewhere were occupied by the farmers demanding less green policy, the European Commission reacted with proposals to retract the green legislation. So it seems to me that it makes sense for young people to get back on the streets, because even without proper democratic representation, etc., these protests, they shape they shape elite opinion. So they might have more of an impact than we might imagine.
So both of you kind of vaguely mentioned a topic I was curious about. In a future where the next enlargement takes place mostly in Eastern Europe, like in the Caucasus region, the Balkan region, and even as far as like Turkey, can you imagine that changing the political landscape, especially in the European Parliament and Commission in any way towards one or either side?
Well, the far right is really gaining lots of grounds in Eastern Europe, particularly. So I worry that new members without the mature liberal culture would actually add to a negative trend to support for far right preferences. Yes, I think it's likely to happen. So we need to be very careful about that.
I think it raises an important point about what the EU has been doing or hasn't been doing internally over the past few years since enlargement as well. And so, for example, Poland, until its recent change of government, was sort of quite populist right and was sort of infringing. Hungary under Orban, as you probably know, has been infringing with a sort of populist nationalist, and the EU hasn't done maybe as much as it should have done internally to try and deal with it. And I think it's quite difficult because Poland and Hungary were almost operating as a little bit of a pair to sort of defend each other, and you need sort of quite a lot of agreement. But I think that hopefully, well, before that sort of enlargement takes place, I think Europe needs to get a bit more serious internally. But I think, you talk about what's happening in the Balkans, but I think the key tipping point is going to come next year. So next year you have the French presidential election, and God forbid, sorry, my political views, but I'll put them out there, but God forbid Marine Le Pen wins, then you see a completely different dynamic. And if France, and you already have Italy under La Liga, so how serious is the EU about stamping this out internally? I think if it starts doing things internally, then I think you can think about external issues. But I just don't. I mean, personally, I don't see enlargement as particularly happening while you have so much nationalism, because I think the nationalists within Europe won't want enlargement anyway. So it's kind of so I think the rise of the right and the populists almost takes enlargement back a step, because I don't think he will be able to. So let's say Meloni in Italy, she wouldn't be able to go back and say, oh, I've allowed enlargement, because then that would allow more, in her terms, immigrants over to Italy, and that would be a problem. So I think enlargement, in a way, isn't going to take place until the EU's solved its internal problems anyway.
Thank you.
Another point. So a lesson that the European Commission and the Parliament well, the ruling in Europe learned from the previous wave of enlargement is that the European institutions have a lot of leverage during the accession preparations, because there is very strong conditionality. So they can put conditions, they can then force changes in these societies. But once the new members become full members of the club with full rights, the European Union loses its power over this, because they have to negotiate with the governments on an equal footing. So that is why, even if it is not just out of nationalism, but out of the lessons learned, that they're not easily let countries in that are not very well prepared to become members. Yeah. Because in fact, this fascinating study, corruption in Bulgaria and Romania increased after they became members, because there was no longer, this pressure of conditionality. And so,
Thank you. Another question we had is, why is there a difference in youth voter turnout in the EU elections across different states in the EU? For example, in some states, voter turnout is higher than other states, and I was just wondering why that was.
Mm-hmm. So let me attempt an answer. Well, in some countries, like Belgium, voting is obligatory, and others it's not. But sometimes when voter turnout is low, it might just mean that people are okay. It doesn't automatically mean that they just mean that they're okay, but they don't require change. So it depends on the conditions in each country. It might be a matter of whether people are really angry or they're glad with what's going on. It's difficult to say without proper analysis, and therefore I cannot give you more of an answer than this.
I think that it's a good question, and as Albena was saying, obviously if they have different rules on sort of obligatory voting in some countries, that makes a difference. What you tend to get in different countries are different cultures of participation, right? So in most countries, let's say like in Scandinavian countries where you have high youth turnout in national elections, you will also tend to get slightly higher turnout in EU elections. It's not always the case, but in countries, let's say, I don't know, like the UK was, where you actually have low youth turnout, it does tend to be lower in EU elections. But also it's whether Europe is actually a big issue. So quite a lot of the time people vote differently in EU elections to how they would vote in national elections, and they almost see the EU elections as maybe a protest vote against the party that's in power in their country. So you can have so many different motivations, and so the EU elections are what we would call a sort of second order election. So most young people in most countries see their own national election as far more important. That would be high. So it's like you guys voting in the state or midterm elections, your voter turnout's going to be less. And so that can explain it. But you do tend to get these cultures of participation. So not just in terms of voting, but also in terms of things like protest. So countries like France and Spain that have big cultures of protest and people going onto the streets, that will tend to be much higher amongst young people in those countries than, let's say, places like the UK. So those cultures of participation seem to make a difference.
Well, I want to touch on that subject, James, of the French elections and how you mentioned with the presidential election next year. Do you think that we can use the French snap election as a temperature check on perhaps what other countries that have similar political situations to France have, where far-left coalition was able to kind of come together and somewhat bail Macron out? Can you imagine that? What do you think the far-left parties and Macron would have to do for him to be able to maintain power?
Well, so Macron's off, and it's hard to know because I don't think he's really decided who his replacement will be for his party, or whether his party will disappear like it. His party just suddenly appeared, right? So with him as this sort of centrist party, actually Macron in the last presidential election, of the three main candidates, so there's Mélenchon, who's sort of populist left, let's say, Le Pen, populist right. Macron was third amongst young people. Mélenchon on the populist left was first, then Le Pen, then Macron. I think there's a massive amount, because I think that French people, maybe they got it earlier than other groups, that actually some of these issues connected with economic, let's call it economic globalization, but let's call it free markets, whatever we want to call it, that they don't like a lot of what's happened in France recently, and they don't feel that they've had much of a voice. And in France and in other Southern European countries, things like youth unemployment are really high. So, during some of the financial crisis, they reached 50% youth unemployment. So there's quite a tradition in France and other countries to protect workers' rights, but the way they're protecting workers' rights are keeping it for older generations like me, and almost like new entrants to the labour market, like so your generation, are being sort of put on short-term contracts. So it's got to be a real sort of focus on what we can do for the younger generation. It's workers' rights, it's housing, because they're really being left behind in countries like France. So this big welfare state that they have is being preserved, but it's only being preserved for older generations. And there's young people need a vision, and there's no vision from the centre parties in France. So I'm a little bit worried, but on the other hand, it could well be, as it's a two-stage election, it depends who gets through to the second round in France, right? So if it's a centre candidate and Le Pen, then probably the centre candidate wins. If it's Mélenchon versus Le Pen, you have the populist left or the populist right. Your guess is as good as mine. And I think the youth vote will be split on that. But otherwise, I think the youth vote will go to the non-mainstream parties, I think.
Question we had was, what ways or methods has the EU used to try and engage with their youth, or has there been any efforts on their behalf to engage with the youth of Europe?
Well, yes, there is a fashion nowadays to create special fora for youth. It's a very widespread idea. In the Friday, sorry, I don't know how serious this is.
Yeah, I mean, it's serious. It's been going on for they sort of have this mantra of getting young people involved. You have the European Youth Forum, you have lots of activity going on. I talked to the is it the European Parliament embassy now, or representation? I don't know what they call themselves now in London, but it's probably an embassy, I guess, now that we've left. But the way they communicate with young people. So I was at an event, and the academics were speaking, and we speak to students, so we half know how to communicate with young people. But seriously, then the EU representatives came in, and they were speaking in a language like, we are delivering this and we are delivering that, and they don't know the issues that young people are facing on a day-to-day basis that Albena outlined earlier. They don't speak about mental health. They don't speak about housing. They might speak in very vague terms about the environment. So they are aware that it's a problem and they need to connect with young people, but they really do it in a very elitist way, and what style of doing it is so bad. So there's lots of things that they could say that are doing that are really good. Like there's Erasmus scheme for student exchanges. There's developments that the EU is funding in certain areas, but they're just a way of communicating with young people. I mean, they don't have, it's like your mum and dad trying to sort of communicate with your friends and sort of talk to them about politics. It's not going to work, right? And so I think what politicians need to realize is that they need champions and other young people to communicate with the other young people. So it's almost like getting young people like you to communicate with other young people, because that's a way that you can do it. And that's how social media works. It works horizontally, communication through social networks. And really, it's about getting young people involved in the communication process, because if the EU tries to communicate with young people directly, it doesn't work. And they do try, but it's cringeworthy, to be honest.
I mean, look, there's we just Googled it, the EU youth strategy. So there are these instruments out there, and one could say, okay, the instruments are there. Young people should engage. If they choose not to engage, that means that it's on them. So I don't know. Well, you young people, okay, over to you. Take action.
One more minute. All right, another question. Awesome. So one more question before we open up for audience questions. As a general trend across Europe, do we think we can see a future of the Overton window shifting? And we look at America's recent election, where a lot of, specifically the Democrat Party, has seemed to capitulate to right-wing solutions, specifically related to hot-button issues like immigration and even some social issues. So do you think we could see that trend happening across European politics, as we've seen European People's Party, for example, doing a lot more work with like right-wing immigration takes? So do you think there will be an Overton window shift, or is this more of a temporary solution for parties to get more votes?
I mean, I can speak from the UK. In the UK, it seems a little bit like a temporary solution, because that's definitely what Starmer, the Labour Party, were doing before they got into office. And actually, I was tracking their youth support as they went through the campaign, and it started about 60% and went down to about 40%, because they were adopting this sort of right positions on things like Gaza and immigration, etc. But I think you can see. So in Britain, maybe we started it, which is a terrible thing to say, and I apologise for it. But our right-wing, so people like David Cameron, Boris Johnson, started adopting this quite early. We were early adopters. I can speak for Germany. And so now you had a quite moderate Christian Democratic leadership under Angela Merkel. And now you have someone who's a Christian Democrat leader called Friedrich Merz. And he is adopting quite a lot of these populist stances on issues like immigration. So, yeah, I mean, I'm afraid that does seem to be the stance that they're taking, but it will depend on the system, because if it's a presidential system, you can maybe get away with it. But then if they go too far to that side, then the left-wing parties can get more votes in the middle. So there's more competition, right? So it would definitely be something that Le Pen is doing. It'll be Friedrich Merz will be doing it, and maybe Trump has shown maybe that actually what you need to do is focus on your core vote strategy and bring out the people who are really passionate, to be kind, that's a kind word, about what they believe in. And so I think that they're already, basically they're already doing it, but I think there will be limits in different countries depending on their culture. In Germany, there's a limit to what you can say for historical reasons, about immigration. In Britain, there's probably some limits, although Boris Johnson tested that. But in other countries, there are less limits, and I could definitely see those centre-right parties adopting a lot of those sort of populist right strategies. Yes,
well, at the same time, far-right parties are adopting left-wing policies. Among the look at the Dutch elections or the French elections, some of the grievances were the promises were exactly about social protection coming from the far right. And in France, there was a very interesting difference. So the left was focusing on fighting inequality, while for the right, for the far right, the topic was about the commons, need for investment in healthcare, in education, in housing. So there is this hodgepodge of topics and shifting issues both from the left to the right and right to the left. So a lot of there's this interesting dynamic going on, I'm not sure where that is going. but certainly there's we're going in a very non-explored territories in this repackaging of the issues for the left and the right.
So thank you for that.
Yeah, we're gonna open it up to questions from anybody in the room here or anybody that has joined us virtually. Are there any questions, at least in the room so far, for our guests?
Oh, there, with me. So thank you. This is really great information. So I was just wondering, we sort of touched on this in a couple of different ways. But I wonder, and either of you want to jump in on your thoughts on this, but in terms of, right, we talk a lot about the mainstreaming of the far right, in Europe, and obviously, like Marine Le Pen's party is not the same as Jean-Marie Le Pen, and Meloni is different than her predecessors, right? And so I wonder if you think that is what is somewhat appealing to younger voters in terms of the these trends that we're seeing, in the last couple of 10 years or so of support for the far right because of sort of the mainstreaming of these parties, right? We're seeing, sort of the center right responding to the far right, but the far right is also trying to make itself just a player like the socialists and the conservatives always have been. So I wonder your thoughts on that. And related, so I'll ask two questions. So there's that question, and then my other question is about, this is something we started out with, sort of the gender differences in support for especially sort of the far right and among younger voters, that there perhaps isn't that much of a difference between men and women. But I wonder, right, we look around Europe and many of these far right parties, two that I just mentioned, have women as their leaders. And so I wonder how that dynamic plays into also sort of the support of younger voters as well. So just a couple.
No, so they're really great questions. Marine Le Pen, if we take her, and so those of you who don't know, that some of you will know that her father was the leader, Jean-Marie Le Pen, for many years of the sort of far right party in France. He would slip out with the odd racist comment. For her, it's more about trying to keep, it's what they call in France a cordon sanitaire. So trying to sanitize the far right by not being explicitly racist. I mean, you look at the Freedom Party in Austria, right? They sort of did this quite a while ago with their leader, a guy called Jörg Haider. They tried to. So I think you're absolutely right. They've changed their language, but also it's because politicians from the centre right have helped to normalise it. And I can only tell you of our experience in the UK as well, which is very telling. And so you had this UK Independence Party that wanted to leave the European Union, that was complaining about immigration. And then the Conservative Party started using its language, taking some of its ideas and policies, having a stricter view on immigration. And then it almost becomes, I think you're right, it's a good point. I think there is a normalization of some of the far right views, but also a tendency amongst the far right to try and not be explicitly racist, shall we say, and even to promote the fact that there are some ethnic minorities that support those parties. So Marine Le Pen and, so why did Donald Trump do well with some ethnic minority groups in this election? Why, so there is an attempt to say we're not racist, we just don't like people coming over who are illegal, or, whatever way they think of defining it. So I do agree with you. There's been a sanitization of the far right. Some of it's been strategic by the far right parties. Some of it is the fault of, I think it's the fault of media as well for not calling it out, as well as the centre right and centre left parties. Gender. Why do we have so many? Well, so we have Meloni and then we have Marine Le Pen. So two of the biggest. So you could say they're the two biggest far right leaders in Europe are both women. I think it's quite kind of useful, because coming from having a female leader, then you sort of you try and it helps you get rid of some of the stereotypes of what a far right person is. So that helps in that sanitization process. There is still, across Europe, it does tend to be more young men than young women. It's maybe slightly different in France, but there is a gender gap. And I think maybe it's different in France or Italy, but most far right parties on the whole in Europe tend to have more traditional views of the family and are more prone to trying to roll back women's rights. So if you look at, let's say, Poland before the recent election, the Law and Justice Party over there was trying to roll back laws on abortion for women, freedom of choice to have abortion there. So there does tend to appeal more to young men, but I think the far right they do realise that half of the population are women, so they are trying to sort of strategize that a little bit better than they've done in the past, and try not to be explicitly anti-women, but more pro-tradition, pro-national identity, and try and not talk about women's rights issues too much.
Let me try to give an answer. So, if I'm right that at the root of the rise of far-right populism is generally this precarization, the insecurity that breeds hunger for stability, for security, then politically there are two types of answers to that. With the iron fist, the strong man, like Trump, or like the caring mother type. So maybe something of that is going on. This need of a parent to create order in the disorder. Also some of these parties, some of the far-right parties, do not espouse so much conservative values of the role of the traditional role of the woman, as I said before, but their anti-Muslim sentiment is presented as saving the liberal European culture from Muslim traditionalism. And this is exactly what Le Pen has been saying, that she's going to protect gender equality from these traditional cultures that are threatening gender equality. So Poland, traditionally it's a more conservative culture. So there are differences among the far-right parties on that particular issue of liberal rights. Yeah.
I mean, you see that also with the LGBTQ plus issues. Like we tend to think historically that those far-right parties are going to be anti, but it very much depends on the country that they're in, and what's the context, and what does the youth think about that particular issue. Whether it's, saying that if you take the Dutch system, right, where it's a much more liberal, not liberal, economic liberal system where, homosexuality and those rights, most people think that's okay, right? And so again, you have builders or others who are coming in and saying, yes, we're protecting those rights for homosexuals from Muslims who are going to be against them, right? Those rights. We're protecting those, like what you were saying, those liberal values of gender equality and protecting LGBT plus rights. So it's weird. And I think what you kind of touched on too, it's important to think of the context that they're in, right? And what's the norms in that particular country. And I think probably more so than any other party, in a party family, we see huge diversity there on certain, particularly social issues amongst the far-right parties, increasingly so. So I think that's just something, not to answer the question for you, but something to keep in mind too.
Yeah.
Keep it very happy.
Michelle, thank you very much for insightful comments. My comments take me a little bit away from far right and thinking about, or at least speculating about the future of youth political participation. And so we mentioned, I think both James and Albena, in turn around the same time, mentioned that to a degree, the European Union is a reactive institution in the sense that we had these youth protests, the environment, better for the futures. The European Union responded with the European Green Deal, which was something we then at least diminished in the 5 years that followed, particularly in the last elections, or at least there was a backlash against those policies. And so my question is about whether or not, or whether either of you could speculate as to how youth will perceive this backlash, particularly around environmental policy, and whether or not that might turn off sort of normal political participation in terms of voting, with also alternative forms of political participation, such as protests.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a great question. I think that the story is that young people in a lot of countries vote less than they did sort of a couple of generations ago, and they certainly vote for greater diversity of political parties, but also that they participate in many different forms of activism. And so I would like to sort of have a positive, very positive view of young people, which I do, in terms of their activism, and then it makes a difference. And you can be active in politics in many different ways. And actually, there is a gender divide where, there are a lot more young women who are active in social movements than there are young men, and young men tend to be more active in political parties. However, just to sort of answer your question directly about sort of how young people will respond. So what you've had over the last sort of 20 years is you've had these waves of crises, so COVID, cost of living, financial crisis, and at each of those points, you've had waves of protest as well. You had it with climate change in 2019. I don't know whether young people, because of all of the other issues they're facing, see climate change, put it quite as high up on their list of priorities. It's still a priority, right? I'm not diminishing it in any way. But whether there are going to be different sorts of protest. I'm hoping that you get a more localized form of activism. And so if young people are protesting, they're going to be protesting at national parliaments as well. But youth activism can take lots of different forms. I think that, protest is just one. I see a lot of youth activism in cities, urban activism, more young people going to public meetings with, even in councils and that sort of community activism, which is maybe something we could learn from the US. However, what I would say is this, with one big flaw, is that the people who tend to be active in non-electoral forms of politics tend to be young people with high levels of educational attainment. And so the people who aren't active are young people from poorer background who then have no voice. And then that's a real danger, because those are the people who would tend more towards extremism. So I don't think there's going to be... I think it's reactive to crises, right? If there is an environmental crisis, so that if there's more of what happened in Spain, I can see these environmental protests taking off again. But I think I kind of worry about that there's nothing being done for young people whose everyday lives are being affected through other means. And there's a big link between everyday politics and things like the environment. So mental health and green spaces, right? Trees, the environment. There's a big actual link if you think about it in cities. And good housing and high energy costs and insulation, right? If houses, so in Britain, we have the oldest housing stock in the world, I believe. I think I'm right in knowing that. So we have the leakiest, draftiest houses you could ever possibly wish to stay in. And what that means is some of the housing solutions which would lower the energy costs of young people would actually do good for the environment as well. So there are solutions, but I think that there will be another wave of youth activism, but you need a spark, and I don't quite see what the spark is at the moment, except that it's happening in little places, in cities and places all over the world. But I'm no doubt, because the climate change is not going to get better, right? So that means that something's going to spark off a big mass protest soon, I would imagine, pretty soon.
Yes, I agree. What I could add here is the observation that precarity is politically debilitating. That is, it deprives people of both time and energy for activism. So if our governments continue this politics of precarization, which is a form of population control, you make your populations increasingly precarious, they don't protest. There is that dynamic, I'm afraid. Now, young people are least susceptible to this. They still have the energy and the optimism to take action. And so far, over the past year, we saw these energies mostly expressed with the university protest against the atrocities in Gaza. And indeed, what this means to me, a lot of these people are protesting for the rights of others. So they're not driven by their self-interest, by their own anxiety about, incapacity to pay bills. No, it is about the right of others. So as long as we have this energy that we, protest for the lives of others, there is hope. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to address a very different issue. You started out speaking a lot about the voices of young Europeans not being heard. But I have not heard anything about the new forms of communication among the younger generation. So I'm thinking social media, etc. We are still speaking about protest in form of taking to the streets or at the university. I don't know exactly how the European Youth Fora work, but I'm wondering, could you comment on to which extent has the EU or various EU institutions failed to engage also? The one thing is how is protest articulated by the younger generations, but the other part of my question would be to which extent are EU institutions or players, actors, not particularly attuned or skilled or even aware of the fact that modes of communication and technologies of communication play a role there have changed among the younger Europeans. And if you want to reach them, you might need to think more about what role social media really plays.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, as I said, the EU, with the institutional mechanisms they have this youth strategy with the 11 European youth goals, etc., etc. But I don't think this is reaching anybody. Now, the far right has been particularly masterful in using Twitter and other forms of mass media to mobilize the youth vote. This is what so far I've observed, and it works. It works if you manage to use the tools of communication that the young people use. Yeah, there is a payoff, but I haven't seen that successfully done by the European institutions. Yes.
The dark ages, yeah.
No. I mean, it's very. I mean, I don't want to be sympathetic to political parties because they've done a very bad job at communicating with people, but over the sort of several decades, you've had individualization of values and lifestyles, and communication technologies have followed that. And so the way people interact or communicate with each other, and this follows on social media, is horizontally, whereas a lot of parties and institutions act vertically to sort of communicate and disseminate information. So it's very hard for them to communicate unless they give up a little bit of control. And I just as a sort of personal example, I was trying to sort of advise one of the political parties, you can probably guess which one it was, but to try and communicate more in Britain at the last election with young people, and to do it in a sort of more effective way. And what you need is you need these entry points into their social networks. So you almost need other young people acting as champions, as the sort of hubs of the networks. And so, but then you need actual real issues for them to talk about. And if you don't actually have any content, so I think the far right has content in a bad, they have content that you can stick in a sort of short social media feed as well. I think the centre parties could have content, right? There could be stuff we're talking about, whether it's on the environment or other issues or minimum wage that we have in this country. So it's a classic example in Britain. They have increased minimum wage for young people, but they refused to talk about it in the election because they didn't want to mention it, because then they thought they'd lose votes from older people. Now, going back to the European institutions, it's almost like when you get to this supranational level, they are in a way the elite of the elite. And I've spoken with the European Youth Forum, and they're all great people, but they're not exactly representative of young people. And if you want, you need to do a little bit more work. You need to go to the youth sector. You need to look at sort of people from deprived communities. You need to have, engage a little bit more at grassroots level. And I think that's kind of what works. But the European Union insists on communicating vertically, and that just doesn't work. It doesn't work with anyone, and it works least well with young people. So, maybe there are ways of doing it. Maybe they can do it on a local level. They try and do it a little bit through their EU representations in countries, but again, they do it quite badly. As the talk I went to, just So the academics stalled on our talk, and this European commissioner then just puts on this video saying all of the great things that the EU had done. And okay, it's fine, and none of them were incorrect, none of them were lies, but it's not gonna sort of communicate well. It's not going to resonate. Nothing of it was about housing, mental health, and it's not going to resonate with what's going on in people's everyday lives. So you're right. The EU has had to They've been in absolute denial about this communication for ages. I remember I was at an Institute for German Studies where I did my PhD, and we used to get EU people coming there, and they would be saying, I think in about 2000, they had this citizenship commission about what EU citizenship should be and how we should engage all the citizens in what the EU is doing. But it totally failed because they didn't get the idea that you need to get down to the grassroots level and then spread out your communication horizontally. So like the Obama campaign, what the Obama campaign did very well is they had a message and then they gave people the freedom to spread it out themselves, through their social networks, which the European Commission certainly wouldn't want to do. And last thing I'll say is political parties and political institutions, they don't want to lose control of the message. And if you don't want to lose control of the message and you don't dare more democracy, then you are not going to be able to communicate with younger generations.
This is the end of the time that we have today. I want to thank both of you guys for coming in today and speaking to us, sharing your expertise. So much information we were able to get, but thank you so much.
It definitely connected to a class we're both taking, comparative politics of the European Union. Definitely helpful. So thank you so much for both being here.
And I want to thank our moderators, Jordan for helping with our technology today, and Ingrid, who's on the other side of the Atlantic, helping as well. Thank you to both of our speakers.